Okay, today I'm going to give you a short introduction into our equation editor and our Markdown editor. So in order to do this, we're going to use a program called RStudio. Now, my R setup is a little bit different than most. I'm not using native Windows apps. I'm using my apps on Linux. So I don't have administrative permissions on this machine, so I don't have the ability to install R. So I use it in Windows subsystem for Linux to do that. And so anyway, the only difference is my operating system inside, but everything else is the same. So what you'll need is you'll need the normal R app, and then you'll need RStudio, which you should have installed. But if you don't, you can install it. CRAN should have that, or get R .org, but anyway, RStudio is what you want, and you'll know that you have a running R because you won't have as many commands in your RStudio. But when I go to File and I go to New File, I'm gonna have a lot more stuff here, so I can make a lot of different types of files in this RStudio IDE. So this is actually an R IDE, so it's designed for development. Okay. But we're going to create an R Markdown file. Now, if you don't have all this, you're probably running R. So you want to go to Start, and you want to type in not just R, but R Studio. And of course, you're going to have an app right here. Then you would launch that, and you would start R Studio. Okay. So I don't want to be in Windows anymore. Okay. And so go to New File, and I'm going to go to R Markdown. Okay. R Markdown. Now, I'm creating a document, and I'll have to do another video sometime on the presentation, 'cause that's a little bit different, but it's pretty neat. Okay, and then I got to give it a document title, so I'm just going to say equation demo. All right, and author tag, date. Now I'm going to choose, I do want to export this into a Word document, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use HTML for now, and I'll show you how to change it. And so now I have basically this is a template document that gets created. And so it's going to show off all the little features and how to use it in the code. And so I'm going to go ahead real quick before I do anything else. And I'm just going to go ahead and what's called knit this document. And it's just like it sounds. There's a ball of yarn there and a little icon. I'm basically stitching it together. Okay. And so that's the idea of Markdown. When you do something in a Markdown, what you're doing is you're actually parsing it into something else. And so I can do Markdown for anything. And anyway, this is Markdown syntax. So what you'll see is these little hashes right here end up making the text larger. In the Word version, when I go and mark down into Word, what ends up happening is these double hashes end up making a document style. Um, and then we have the code snippets right here. So when the R Markdown sees these triple backticks, it goes, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna invoke myself and do some things." And so here's some more triple back ticks that tells R to do something. So we're going to say, hey, use R, use cars, and then summarize cars. And I could do whatever I want. I could load up some data and print a table out and whatever. Okay, so I'm going to hit knit. First time I hit knit, it's going to ask me where do you want to save your stuff. And so I'm going to tell it I made a little shortcut. And I'm going to go into the miscellaneous folder, and I'm going to save this as equation editor demo. All right, save. Yeah. I chose HTML, so what I ended up getting was a viewer. And so this actually goes in and it actually marked down everything and turned it into whatever it's supposed to be. It's effectively a markdown is I'm taking a document written in a language and I'm compiling it into something. And so that's exactly what happened. So as you can see right here, we got a plot command, R pressure, plot pressure, right? And we get this nice graph. Cool. Here's a chart. I could go in and do all kinds of R code right here inside this thing and I don't know, make something cool. But I'm not an R person, so I don't know. I really don't know how to do that. And notice the double hashes. They just made it big. And then the word title, it made it bigger. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, okay, a couple of other little things here. The double asterisks converted that into bold, knit. All right, so that's bold. And then we have the link. So we put it in this case, the link ended up coming over as a link when we use the angle brackets. So pretty cool. All right, so the only thing I had to do to make this a Word document is change this text right here to Word. Okay, that's it. That's all. But I don't do that. I'm gonna use this real quick. Okay, so first thing I want to do is I'm gonna delete this stuff. So I don't want it anymore. I want a blank slate, and I'm gonna go ahead and use equation editor. Okay, how do I do that? Anything that is inside double dollars, double dollar, becomes an equation. All right, so I'm just going to make one, and I'm going to say f of x equals mx plus b. All right, and so notice that it went in and actually built this out, and this is the preview. Okay, that's all it is, the preview. And obviously I can make it go away. Right? This is just a feature of RStudio, right? That's what it should look like when it renders. Okay. Now I can do all kinds of stuff in here. I can do all kinds of stuff, but right now I'm just gonna make something really simple. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and make another equation. And it's going to be x equals y plus 2. Uh-oh. So notice that what happened here is that I have these on two separate lines, but they're running together. Okay. That's because R needs some help, and it needs to know that I want these two equations to run over into two different lines. So I'm going to put two backslashes right here, and I can put some spaces there to make that visually okay. But you notice that what happened is now, okay, yep, I got it. All right, so now there is a really great website available on math in R, and I will put the link to that in the description of this video. Um, but I'm going to show you one more thing. I'm going to make an equation here, another one, and it's going to use some Greek letters. Okay, so x equals x, and I'm going to go ahead and put a delta in here. Why not? Okay, and I'm going to put an A, and I'm going to put an E. All right. Now, obviously what we want to do in math is we want to use some subscripts and whatnot, okay? And so I'm just going to subscript that with a underscore. Now you notice that next term now becomes an subscript. The thing is with this subscripting is it only happens to the very next character. Immediately upon going back to this plus sign, I am back to the subscript. So sometimes I have to block these things off, and I block them off with what's called a unifier. Okay, and a unifier is it's basically the idea of this is our set notation, and that is the brace, um, the curly brace. So notice that when I put these two lines in braces, now my terms are combined, and it reads it as type X, and then subscript everything that's inside the braces. And so my delta and my A is now brace. Now, notice also Greek. Any Greek letter I type it out. All right. I'm gonna go back up here, and I'm gonna change that to a delta. Okay. But what I want to do in this case is I want to make that big delta. I want to make that the triangle, right? The one that represents change. And the only thing I have to do is I have to just capitalize the Greek word, right? And so now that becomes big delta. And I'm going to change that to, and I'm going to make that a big sigma. Okay, yeah, sigma. Okay, sigma's always cool. All right. Notice that the difference between the big sigma and the little sigma, right, is just a capital S. That's all. Okay. Now it's a little bit different when you do sums in this math notation. It's going to change a little bit. Okay. The other thing that I'll do is I'm going to show you when I get down here and I want to do another equation. Okay, so I make another block, right, and that's my new equation. In this case, I'm going to do x equals. Let's see. We'll do this. If distance equals rate, rate times time. Okay, d equals r times t. Right. Okay. Now, what do we say? We say that r equals d over t. Okay, but what we want to do is we want to put this in a better form. So I want to use the real fractions. So I'm going to say backslash frac, and I'm going to have my numerator in braces and my denominator in braces. So my numerator is d, my denominator is t, and I'm just going to backspace that over. Okay. So now I have a actual fraction, and I can put anything inside these braces right here. It can be very complex equations that go there. Um, and it will draw it out as a fraction for me. Okay, now remember, I said earlier that these equations come over as an object, and because they're all in dollar signs, they're all in the dollar block. They're going to come over as one object in Word. What I want to do is I want to make these actually come over as multiple objects. So that way I can work with them separately. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to actually put in these equations in their own little blocks. That way, when they go into Word, they're going to come in as three separate objects. 1, 2, 3, and then this one with two equations will be an object. Okay. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put in a discussion. Okay. Now my discussion. I'm going to make it big up here so we can read it. Okay. I have two ideas. And the first I'm going to put my hypothesis here, okay? And I'm going to say this is my inline formula, okay? So H sub 0, right? Now you see how when I close that out, now it renders it, shows me what it's going to look like. And that is an inline. Any equation you build, you can build it inline. You just do $1, and it says that R is my friend, okay? The second is H sub A, and it says that R is my enemy. Now I'm going to try and put a blank line here, and I'm going to put 2 enters. I think that the truth is H sub 0 plus A, and I'm going to put my brace 0 plus A, and R is my frenemy. Okay, yeah. All right, easy peasy. Now I'm going to click knit, and I'm going to render this HTML document, and we should see that we have formulas. Oh, look, and my inline formula is rendered properly, and my double enter produced a new line. Okay, and now I have everything in here. Okay, good. Looks good to me. I'm going to change it up real quick, and I'm going to send it to a Word document. So I'm just going to type Word right there. Now I'm going to error out right here because I don't have Microsoft Word on my computer. But the Word file is going to be the same name as this file. Okay, there's my error, and that's my sign that I have a Word document over here in this folder. All right, and here it is. Here's my original script, my R Markdown file. And here's the HTML page that I built, and then here's my Word document. So when I open it up in Word, I have a couple different things. One is these 3 equations. Now this particular one did not render properly, and I'm not sure if it's because it didn't understand how to do the fraction or not. Um, let's try putting it in its own block. And I'll render it again. So remember, it's as simple as closing the file out and going back and re-rendering. There we go. Okay, so for whatever reason, it didn't like doing those multi-line equations for the fractions. But now notice that when I move my cursor here, Word is showing me these equation blocks, and it's treating them as individual objects. This is going to come in handy when I go in and actually create detailed equations for my document by numbering them in a special way. So I do have to number these equations when I put them in my real document, and I'll do that in a different video. But these are here. All of these things are rendered as an equation, but they're rendered properly in the document. So these are styles, and they can be changed. So here's my normal text. Right, here's my other, and I can change all these styles using the style editor. I'll save that for a different video also. But this is essentially using the equation editor to create. It's so much easier than trying to do this in Word. Believe Believe me, oh, it's so much easier. And there is a wonderful document on the how to do it in let me see if I can find that URL. It's math and R, and I'll try and put that in the equation. Also, um, a very good article. I think yeah, this is it. Mathematics in R Markdown. So I'll put that in the description of the video. But here is all of the different ways to write these things out, on how to use the sum function, how to use the fractions. They're all in there. And so this is a really good document to use with your equations and doing it in R. So there you go, the R equation editor and R Markdown in a nutshell. Thanks.